To say the PlayStation 5 is anything but a success would be a pure fallacy. Right now, Sony and the PlayStation 5 are the hottest things going in the video game world right now, and this comes on the heels of Microsoft sort of faltering out a little bit as they've gone through a little bit of issues with not only some of the more technical things like DRM that has come up once again, but also the delay of games. Clearly, the reputation of Microsoft is that they can't get games out, and until they actually do get games out, there's not really much that I can say that's going to change anybody's minds. Clearly, we're in a completely different state with what Microsoft is doing than they were 4 or 5 years ago with only 5 studios, but that's not enough for a lot of people. People really want to see the game's release, and I totally understand that. I think you're totally in your right if you think that Microsoft has dropped the ball. Sony, on the other hand, has been releasing PlayStation 5 games and content right from the beginning of the generation, unlike previous generations. If you think back to it, the PlayStation 4 released with rather lackluster software. You can look at Knack and you can look at Killzone Shadowfall as the proof in the pudding. Now, when it comes to the PlayStation 5, yes, they've released some quality content. Yes, the games that they've released this year so far from the first party are all indeed games that were delayed. So it goes to show you that delayed games can actually turn out pretty darn well. And I think that's really worked in Sony's favor with Horizon Forbidden West as well as Gran Turismo 7. And we also see that, God of War Ragnarok looks like it could be coming out this year. But we got some new information from Sony, and I thought it would make for a very interesting video. And I wanted to jump right into it because Sony is vastly expanding what they've been doing, and we continue to see them be more successful than ever, and this is actually pretty interesting to say the least. Now, gaming is always going to be Sony's main priority because it makes them the most money, and they were actually talking about how they plan on growth in the future and growing PlayStation in the future as well. And the CEO Kenshiro Yoshida has actually expanded on what PlayStation's strategy is in the financial year. Sony Interactive Entertainment has released the details of its corporate strategy meeting for the financial year of 2022, which took place recently at the company's head office in Tokyo, Japan, and was hosted by Kenshiro Yoshida and CFO Hiroki Totoki. While most of the meeting was about Sony's plans moving forward as a whole, a lot of the meeting was also about the future of PlayStation. Now, according to the meeting, Sony plans on continuing its investment in video games. The recent Bungie acquisition was also brought up as playing a key role for Sony in the long term, thanks to Bungie's experience and knowledge in running live service games. Now, Yoshida also answered a few questions during the Q&A session of the meeting, where the CEO stated that when it comes to acquiring new studios and companies, Sony considers whether it would be able to contribute to the studio. So this is a very interesting aspect. They look at studios where they can say, well, yeah, this looks like a studio we can actually contribute something to, and it looks like we can help them out. A lot of people talk about the organic growth strategy that Sony has implemented, and they've used that to great success. Yes, it's not always the case when you look at a buyout like Bungie, but Bungie didn't really need that much help to begin with, and they're going to stay independent for the most part and just basically use Sony as a way to fund things, which I think it's a very smart move on Bungie's half. Now, when it comes to Sony, most of the studios that they pick up, quite obviously, are studios that are going to be able to, help them out sooner rather than later. And that's something that I think all of us kind of look at and go, hey, well, that's a pretty smart move if you think about it, and can't wait to see what they're going to come out with in the future. It really kind of depends on where they go from there, but I think it's a very smart move by them. Now, basically, another key area of growth for Sony is the ability to make use of its gaming IP. They're going to actually want to adapt these in other styles of media. An example shown off in the presentation was the Uncharted movie and the commercial success. Yoshida has stated that Sony is going to continue to raise the value of its gaming properties through cross-promotions and adaptations. Yoshida also shared a few key figures for the growth of PlayStation business. A lot of these details were revealed during Sony's earnings call earlier this month, and the company expects to sell around 18 million units of the PlayStation 5 in this fiscal year, which is up to March 31st, 2023. PlayStation Network's new PS Plus service is also scheduled to roll out in June, expanding the revenue from the subscription service. So all things are pointing to huge success for PlayStation going forward, which is a huge thing for the gaming industry in general. We all want to see these consoles sell well. We all want to see these consoles do better than the previous ones and continue on that line of video game consoles. It's a very smart thing that Sony is doing, and the way that they've kind of invested into the future is awesome, to say the least. Now, when it does come to what Microsoft is doing a little bit something different, but we also see that obviously Sony has, no trouble getting things to kind of work the way that they want them to work. So yeah, very interesting to say the least. Now, when it comes to some of these other situations, I find this to be a very interesting kind of tactic, in that Sony has some things that have leaked out, and I've stated it multiple times, right? The games are the most important thing. Right now, Microsoft has kind of dropped the ball. Sony hasn't. But then again, they don't really have anything first party wise really announced for the rest of the year or scheduled. Yes, God of War Ragnarok is scheduled and could possibly come out, and I hope so, fingers crossed. The first one is my all-time favorite game. But according to this leak, the yet-to-be-announced Last of Us remake could release this year, according to rumors circulating online. During today's, or actually this was the other day's episode of Kinda Funny Gamecast, GamesBeat's Jeff Grubb talked about the yet-to-be-announced remake of one of the best games developed by Naughty Dog, saying that he's hearing that it's actually going to come this year. As The Last of Us remake has yet to be officially announced by Sony, we have to wait and kind of take a wait-and-see attitude with it. So take it with a grain of salt right now. Even though Jeff Grubb has a pretty good reputation in the industry, still take everything with a grain of salt. If the game is indeed releasing this year, then it'll quite likely that we'll probably see it in action very soon. Not much is currently known about The Last of Us remake, but back in May of 2021, a report stated that the remake won't be a simple resolution and performance upgrade in the vein of a remaster, but a game that will take advantage of PlayStation 5's raw power and features. Jeff Grubb had this to say: "While it would have been a lot of fun to see the world's reaction to a surprise reveal of this project," which was Jason Schreier's report about what's been going on at PlayStation Studios, lately spoiled it to some degree. I say to some degree because people seem to think this will basically just be in the vein of a remaster. That's not blow expectations out of the water by hyping it up too much, but this won't be a simple improvement of resolution, frame rate, and textures. The kennel is going to really take advantage of PlayStation 5's power and features with The Last of Us Part 2 engine, not just in terms of graphics, but in other things as well." So again, this hasn't even been officially announced, but it's been heavily kind of speculated and rumored and leaked previous times, and it looks like they're going all out with it. For me personally, I am one of the people that prefers The Last of Us Part 2. One of the reasons why is because I thought that the story in Part 1 was pretty good, but it kind of dragged on a little bit, and I also felt like the parts, the tropes that Naughty Dog has, right? Like, for as great as they are, there's a couple of things that they do that, for me personally as a gamer, are a little bit annoying. One thing is, like, with the crates in Uncharted 4. Like, you're in these old-timey ruins, and they have little wheels on crates. I don't know. And those are like the answer to everything. The other thing would be like in The Last of Us Part 1, where you had to help Ellie across water numerous times, because she couldn't swim. And I just felt like those were just really things to kind of pad the game and help the game to last a little bit longer. And I just didn't find it to be that enjoyable. I'm sure that a lot of people did and really kind of enjoy. I know that's one of the most popular games of all time, and there's a huge contingent of people that enjoy that much more than, some of the other games. But I also think that, it makes sense to actually go out there and, let Sony know if you're going to support it with your money or not. You know what I mean? Like, I think Sony thinks that it's an easy kind of cash grab for them. Will it be? Listen, I'm not sure, but we'll see what's going to happen long time and long term. I'm sure people will go out there and support it and buy it. We'll see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens, but we do need to see some games. There was a little bit of other game news today, but maybe I'll save that for another video. But Sony's going to bring it. Anybody that thinks Sony isn't going to step back and bring it, I've got news for you. They definitely are, and it's going to be pretty hot when they do. If you're watching my video and you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. It helps the video to be seen, and it helps the channel to grow. Thank you so much for watching my video. Have a fantastic day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Thank you so much for watching. Crap Gamer out.